Hey everyone, it is Danielle Marie from the One Realty here with your weekly update. So the Austin market, I'm going to put it out there. I am very, very, very excited for this spring season, not only for my buyers, but also my sellers. We are seeing some activity. I know interest rates have been crazy. I know right now there is a lot of uncertainty with where we are. But what I can say is what I'm seeing not only in my personal experience with my buyers and sellers, but also with other agents I talk to, is that we have seen a ramp up. And actually, I say agents, I say title officers. I've also talked to inspectors, which is inspectors are really good because inspectors are going out there firsthand, seeing these houses, whether they're seeing them pre-listing or during the listing. We're just seeing a lot of activity. So what I want to do today is we're going to break down what has happened and I do my stats on Wednesday. A couple of things. Why? Well, typically on Wednesday, that is like the middle of the week. So anything that went pending from the weekend is going to probably go pending by like Tuesday because negotiations will be wrapping up. And then any new listings typically hit the market on Thursday. So if we look at it on Wednesday, it's kind of a good snapshot of like right in between. And does that skew either way? So what we're going to do is we're going to compare what happened when I reported on the 5th of February's numbers to yesterday's numbers, the 12th of February. So pulled these data numbers last night and here to present it to you. So also, if this is your first time like finding me, feel free to follow. And then if you have comments or questions, I'm monitoring the chat. So feel free to shoot it out if you are wondering what I'm saying or need some clarification. So with that, here is Austin's real estate market. So I'm going to pull this up and this is week over week. So what you're going to see here as I go through it here is I've tracked the data. So I've started to track it. I didn't used to track in Excel. I used to just post it every week. And not keep it. But I think it's really valuable to look at the trends over time. So first thing up is that our number of active listings. So our active listings data, you're going to see it right here. I'll pull it up so it's a little bigger on your screen. We are still under 2,000 active listings on a Wednesday. So we're at that 1990. And so to give it perspective, once again, our peak, we were at like 3,600 plus in July. And we have slowly been, we fell all the way down and then we've slowly started to kind of build that inventory back. We fall down during December timeframe. You've got holidays, school are out, people stop listing their homes or they pull them off and now we're putting them back on. So that being said, we are kind of seeing it go up. Earlier in the week, if I looked on like a Sunday, we had like 2,020, but no drastic increases in the number of listings. The average price point. So our average price point went up again this week. So we're at 1.22 million. Put it in perspective, last summer our average was around 1.3. But if I scroll this back and we can kind of look where we've been for the average per week, you're going to see like even when I started keeping this, we were at like a 1.1 and we're just slowly increasing it. And the reason we're seeing that also increase is typically our luxury listings, we're going to see more of those come on into the summer, especially as people getting ready because maybe the schools are getting out or kids are getting out and they're going to be moving over the summer. You're going to see a lot of this pop up, especially also our lake homes, because lake homes, who wants to buy them necessarily November, December? You want to buy them starting in the spring because you're getting ready to be out on your boat. So with that being said, our median price point has stayed exactly the same. That's kind of a good news. We're not going up, not going down. Not going up is good for buyers. Not going down is good for sellers. So we're kind of keeping our price point is staying consistent. The other thing that we're going to see, and this is as we hit to a stronger market, is we're going to see days on market drop down. So we're seeing our average and our median days on market. How long have listings been on the market that are active? We hit well over, so if we go back, we were at like 108 at the beginning of the year. And so now we're down at 92. What this means is houses are moving quicker. I can tell you, I am out there looking with buyers. I have seen houses that are going off in a couple of days. We just got a buyer under contract. The house hadn't been on for 3 days and we got the house and we are already under contract on the house. We are acting now. If there's a house you like and you're a buyer, do not wait. If you are a seller, if you price appropriately, there's going to be some action. Next thing you know is number of listings with price reduction. So I do it two ways. One, what's the total number of listings? But two, I really like to look at like the overall percentage. So you can see right now we dropped down over another 0.5% to 46.13%. Why is this important? Well, this is just showing you that houses are moving quick. They're moving more quickly. So you're not going to see as many price drops, as well as if they have a good agent that's kind of watching the market and seeing what's going on. If the house is priced right, sometimes it's just the right buyer coming. So sometimes it's not just an absolutely like price drop house. Sometimes it's just the right buyer, especially if you have a unique property. So sellers are kind of holding a little bit tighter, which is also going to be reflective when we get down to the sales data as what is close price to original list price. We're seeing that go up. So that's just good news for my sellers out there. So I've got good news for buyers. I've got good news for sellers. For sellers, we're seeing some people come back, buyers come back. So that's a really good news. And you can see, I think I say this every week, but our high, we are around like 57% of listings. Now, the average number of houses across the US, I think the average data was right around 40% right now for this past week. So what does that mean? We're getting closer to what the average is across the US as far as the number of listings with price reductions. And we're going to continue to see that fall. The next thing we're looking at is the new listings. So there was 214 new listings this week, a little fewer listed than last week. No, you are trying to sell a crashing market. Don't buy now, wait for summer, it's crashing. Well, let's have you watch the numbers and we'll talk about the crashing and what we're seeing. That was a comment made. If you keep watching the numbers, that's absolutely what I'm doing. That's why I take a data-driven approach to real estate. So I don't just talk about how great a market is, how great it's not, because if you followed me and you watched me during the November timeframe, I was also saying, hey, it's going down, what we're seeing. So I'm going to give you facts, not emotions. So we're going to go back to that. And with that, we're also seeing the number of new listings. So even though we see these new listings come on, the other thing that I like to look at is I like to look at how many are relisted. This means that houses that were previously listed that have come back on. So 31 of them, a little less than last week. But that's important because that also means that we have aged inventory. So aged inventory, it sometimes takes longer to sell. And also just because we get new inventory on the market, if buyers have seen it before, it's not technically new. It's new for stat wise, but you also have to be smart and say, has it already been on the market? Have people already seen it? That's what we're looking at. Also, you're going to see the average price point. This is just week over week as far as the listings that are coming to the market. So the listings that we have coming to the market, it is lower than our average price on both accounts. So that's good for buyers, is that you're going to see, hey, we're not seeing significantly higher, but we're staying very, very consistent. So that's good for our buyers out there. Next, we're going to look at our pending. And so this is we're selling a crashing market too. So Austin was crashing for about 2.5 years. So I think what I've seen right now is that buyers are finally done sitting on the sidelines, and some of them are coming back. A lot of first-time home buyers. It's also the recency effect. Interest rates have been around the 6s and 7s for the past 2.5 years. Some of those buyers that were never around for those 2-3%, we're seeing them come to the market now. So pending listings. So first and foremost, pending listings, we have a total of 826 houses that are pending. That is an increase from last week of 63 houses. So we increased. Now remember, we're also having homes that are being sold that are detracting from this. But you can see right here our pending listing from the prior week. We were, at that 7, if I pull it up here, so you can see 763, and you go all the way back. So if we go all the way back and we're back in the December timeframe, New Year timeframe, we were in the 600s. So we are seeing an increase in the number of pendings. Now, Austin is typically, we are not our season has not started yet. So typically our buying season really starts to, honestly, like end of March is kind of where our strong buying season is. So we're just seeing a little bit early of our buyers that are coming to the market. What we're also seeing here is our weekly pending. So our weekly pending is the highest it's been in 6 months. So this is our new listings as far as how many houses under contract over the past, and I do 7 days. So you can see right here. So this is each week I'm tracking how many houses went pending during these timeframes. So this past week, we had 184 houses go pending. And so a couple things that I look at as I also want to pay attention. What was the interest rate that weekend going into Friday? Just some different things to kind of see, hey, what might slow something down? What might speed it up? I also talk about like things that are happening over those time frames in here. But what I'm seeing here is you can see 184. That is the highest number of listings that has gone pending in 1 week. And we can go all the way. I started tracking it in the beginning of September. And in the beginning of September, we were at like 123, 125 per week. And we're at 184. That is a huge jump if you actually think of even the time frame. We haven't yet hit March and April. So I will see, I bet next weekend we might even see a 200 number come across. And so I'd love to hear what you think. I know interest rates went up, but we will see what is happening. So back to our weekly data right here. So if we're zooming in right here to these numbers, our average price point. So the average price point fell as far as the number of pendings. Looking at average price point, this is kind of a good thing too, because it will predict what we're going to see on the sell side. So if these numbers are significantly lower or higher than what our 30-day average is, we're going to kind of expect to see, hey, it's going to go down or it's going to go up with these kind of numbers for our pending. What I will say is typically January's numbers are kind of in the shitter. They're a little bit further down, and that has a lot to do with people getting sales in January. As we start closing in February, I expect to see those numbers kind of uptick, especially now that we're seeing more houses kind of go pending than we have prior. You're seeing the median price point of 17,000. That's a decent sized jump. And then here you're seeing the average days on market continue to drop. Now, that's also because we will have new homes hit the market and they will go quickly. Like the one I was just telling you, I had 2 buyers go under contract in 1 week. The buyers are out there. We are seeing them. And also for sellers, it is happening. So sellers, just be aware of, hey, this is going on. Also number of homes with price reductions. So this is actually really interesting. This is the first week they've gotten very close, where the number of houses that are on the market with price reduction and the number of houses that are pending. This is the first week where a number of houses of price reductions on the market. You're going to continue to see this number drop down. And so we're seeing them get very, very close. So that just means that houses are moving quicker. You might not have a house with a price reduction that is going pending. Now, here's my crashing market. Oh, real estate is crashing, everything like that that's happening. Austin crashed for the past 2.5 years. I mean, if you look at the data, it crashed for the past 2.5 years. I called it early on because while I was not presenting the numbers like I am today, I was watching the numbers and I was still talking about the numbers weekly. So if you like this information, please subscribe and follow. Also, if you just save this, then you can revisit and refine me when you're trying to scroll through the algorithm and find me. So with that being said, let's look at the closed data. Now, these closed data numbers, first and foremost, this closed data number, I will be upfront, is abysmal. So when he talks about crashing, different things, we have not seen. These numbers have been really bad for the past 2.5 years. We're starting to see the uptick in the pendings. And so that's where I'm saying, hey, we've got 826 houses that are pending. The close past 30 days was 426. I think that we're going to see over the coming weeks, this number is going to jump up significantly. I can always say, hey, it's going to be under this. So we might hit like a 600, 700. It's going to uptick. It just depends on how fast these new weekly listings go pending. With that being said, the average sales price for the past 30 days, and this is just week over week. So sometimes it's kind of skewed because 1 week you might have a big $1 million house drop off. And I say $1 million, we had a $16 million house that just sold recently in the city of Austin. It was like our highest sale for the year. That one may or may not drop off soon because when it sold. So that might change it. That's also why we're going to talk month over month and year over year. That is the next part of data that we are going to talk about. But your average sales price is $802,000 from the rolling 30. Remember, this rolling 30 is also including a lot of January. Those were the sales that happened in December. Hey, let me get you under contract. Let's get you under contract for the end of the year. Sellers were taking offers just because they're like, hey, yes, I want to get this house done. I don't know what's going to happen in the coming months. That was happening. You can see the median price point fell down a little bit. And then also our days on market continue to fall. Now, here's where I go back to the crashing market or to the tightening of the strings from the sellers. So this right here, the close price to list price, this is going to tell you how likely a seller is to negotiate with a buyer. So if you're looking right here, you're seeing our closed price to list price. Relatively everything stayed the same. Nothing dropped down. We're all kind of ticking back up. So we're at 96, 97%, meaning the house, if you're buying a house, is typically going about 3 to 4% under list price is kind of like the average. If we look at closed price to original list price, so how much of a deal, because you had price cuts, those are the difference. So closed price to list price is closed price, current price. Closed price to original list price is closed price to original list price. So remember up above when I talked about those like 46, 47% of the houses that are pending or active for sale that have had a price reduction, that's where this data comes in. So with that being said, closed price to original list price, the average is 92.18 and the median is 94. So the average is, because the average is lower, that's really saying some people got some screaming deals pushing it down. But overall, this median price is, where's the middleman coming in? Well, the middleman's coming in at like 6%. And so how does that compare? Well, even if we go back to where we are, when I started Chuck in December, we're still very close to that. So we've been kind of staying pretty consistent. We're just slightly going up. Now, this is where I think a lot of the data comes in. We're going to compare year over year. Where does Austin for January's numbers? Where is Austin for February's numbers? Where are we looking year over year and month over month? So I'm going to go to the monthly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all a sneak peek of January's numbers. So it's, even though I did these numbers on 12 February, there are still agents that have not reported sales that closed out in January, or builders that haven't closed them out. They typically mid-February. We'll see it. So I'll have one more week and I'll really get the fine print numbers are probably going to be next week. But I just want you to see where we are. So this year in January, we closed, this is going to be year over year. So this is going to show January of this year compared to January of last year right here. And then this section down here is month over month. And so you're going to see January of this year compared to December of 24. So just the prior month. And what I want you to keep in mind, especially if you're already looking, because if you're like me, you're probably looking at these numbers, fast forwarding it to see, hey, what's going on? Let me move on. What you have to remember is when you see this month over month, January is all the deals that people made in December, meaning people made deals with sellers to get them to sell and to get under contract for the end of the year because people were just tired of it, especially with the holidays and everything happening. So this is expected to be low. What I'm really focusing on this is how do we compare to last year? So first and foremost, we sold like 5% less homes this year than last year. It was 23 homes. But I want to take a look at the historical average. If you've been listening to me, I've been saying, hey, this past year, in the past actually 2.5 years, we've been just horrible. Like the number of sales have been abysmal. And I'm talking like 30 to 40% underneath the historical average. And that's what you're going to see right here. Austin performed at 30% less the historical average in the number of sales. So my friend that talks about the Austin market crashing, this is across the whole US. You can actually look at sales across the whole US is plummeting. So that's also where I'm going to give you real data. I'm giving you what is actually happening so you can take a look at it yourself and you can come to your own educated conclusion. So right here, you're seeing the average, we're at 30.33% less. What does that also mean? Well, if we've been underselling the past 2.5 years and Austin still's been growing, doesn't that mean there's a lot of buyers out there that haven't bought that are just sitting on the sidelines? There's people that want to buy they've been sitting on the sidelines. Number one, because they're waiting to see Austin bottom out. And number two, they're waiting for the interest rates. So you're going to see a lot of that. So when interest rates fall, if they fall, when they fall, we're going to see buyers come back. But that's also why I think we're seeing some buyers take action now, is because they don't want to be part of that. With that being said, our average sale year over year. So our year over year increase, we went up 8.22%. That's crazy. That's our average. Our median went up 1.71%. That's year over year for January. So even though we sold 23 less units than the prior year, we're seeing these prices go up. And it's not necessarily because we've got a ton of new construction or a ton of new remodeled. It's actually to the contrary, because a lot of those remodeled and new construction houses, people have not been building the past couple of years because the money has not been there. They've not been able to get loans. They've not been able to think that they're going to turn a profit on the houses. So we're just starting to see kind of those individuals coming back. With that being said, our days on market, they were a little higher, which was completely expected. We've expected our days on market to be higher. This is, if you followed me along, we've talked about this every month. So we're going to see it tighten up. I would not be surprised if in a few months our days on market are going to be shifting the opposite way. It's going to be in favor of where we are now compared to where we were last year. You're also going to see, so this close price to list price, when I start talking about this, this is where I say, hey, this market is stronger for sellers than last year. And yes, we're seeing these prices go up, which is one thing, but this can be skewed. The average can be skewed by $1 million listing. The median's not skewed as much because it's, hey, where's that middle house going? But we're also not comparing condition and square footage because that changes too. But this is really a really good piece to look at is what is our close price to original list price? What is our close price, the average of the median? What is our close price to list price of the current prices? And so you're going to see right here, our close price to original list price, we're up 1%. That is to a seller's favor. That's just showing, hey, sellers are kind of holding strong a little longer than they have, and we're already starting to see it in the numbers. With that being said, you can kind of see, here's the month over month. I completely expect this to be abysmal because this is where people are making a deal in December to get to January. Now, great, I've showed you this numbers, but we really want to know about February. Now, keep in mind, this is only February 1 to February 12th, meaning it's not even 2 weeks worth of data. So, and typically when sales close out, we typically don't see those sales close out for like 3 to 4 days because unfortunately agents, builders don't put the data in right away. But with that being said, we're going to hop to that. And if you're just following me and just joining in for the first time, I appreciate this. Please save it. Please leave a comment. Let me know where you're from. And if you are looking for an agent, whether it's in Austin or outside of Austin, shoot me a DM. You can also find me if you're watching on, if you look up The One Realty in Austin, you'll find me. But if you're looking on X, I'm at _1_realty. If you want to email me, I'm Danielle at theonerealty.com, all spelled out. I'm also on YouTube at Austin Real Estate. So that's actually my handle is Austin Real Estate. How great is that? With that being said, how are we doing for February? Well, obviously we are going to see our year over year, our closed numbers are going to be down because we're 12 days into the month. We got a lot more time to go. Month over month, you're also going to see that down. Makes sense. We're 12 days into the month. What you are going to see here is you're going to see our average price point here. Our average price point for February right now, we are up. Our median price point is down. So this right here is where we're going to play into the market and see, hey, what is actually happening? As we get more houses to close out throughout this month, this is really going to decipher, hey, what is happening now? You can see right now our average sales price is $783. Our median is $550. Let's go back to those rolling 12. Actually, I say rolling 12. Let's go back to the pending. So pending right now, look at our pending. This is our pending numbers, not 819, 617. Even if we're at 4%, 5% under list price, our original list price. So right now for under list price, we're about 3%. Even if you have that too, that's going to shoot these numbers up. Those 783 and those 550, they're going to go up because I'm looking at pending data. How much they go up, I don't know. But that's why you're going to save this. And that's why you are going to follow me because you're going to see the data for next week. And we're going to take a look. And you really want to know what's happening in Austin market. Don't wait until the Austin market statistics. So you're going to get, if you look at the Austin Board of Realtors, they publish this amazing graph every month. But what you have to understand is that includes condos, townhouses, includes all sorts of stuff. I'm talking about purely single family homes. And I'm giving you week by week data. I'm not giving you data that's a half a month old, different things like that. You are getting the real time data. So with that being said, we're seeing average days on market. They've fallen. So this is where we went. This, remember right here, last year, our days on market were ahead. Oh, what did I expect? We are down. Our days on market is lower than last year. That's a strong sign. The other thing you're going to see is this close price to list price. All of these numbers right here, we're down by 1% year over year. Now down here, we were up by 1%. I'm curious. I have a suspicion too. It was those deals that were made at the end of year, end of December, right at the new year when the buyers hadn't come back. I'm curious. I bet we're going to see this significantly increase because now we're seeing buyers come back. We're seeing some competition come back. I bet, I'm a betting woman. I'm going to say next week it's going to be higher, especially the fact that we had our highest number of pendings. Okay, so month over month, this is also where you're going to see. So month over month, how are we comparing? You see our average sales price is slightly up. Our median is slightly down month over month, but everything else month over month is up. So even though year over year we're seeing this down, our month over month close price to list price, we're at 94%. If we looked at last month, we're at 93%. I think we're going to expect to see this continue to stay strong. So let me remove that. So yeah. So my big takeaway, a couple of things is, yes, we're seeing those pending listings go up. If there is a new house that comes on the market, you have to remember we're under 2,000 listings. When a new house comes on the market, I'm probably sending it to my buyer. Lots of other agents are sending their buyer. If you are sitting there and you're on you're on Realtor.com, Trulo, Zillow, all that, and you want to see a house, and you might not be getting it right away because it's only when you refresh it, but also you want to make sure that you have someone that can take you and you can see the house immediately, because houses are starting to move. So even if you're not buying for 2 to 3 months or 6 months, find your agent now. Whether there's someone you know, or if you're looking for someone, feel free to reach out, because when a house comes on the market, you're going to want to see it. The other thing is that because our listings we don't have a ton of listings right now. Maybe we will get a ton of listings, but the perfect house that you might come on next month and then might not come on for another 4 months. So you just want to be ready and be active, so that when it does come on, you can take advantage of it. Or if you want to act before all the rush gets on, you can also take advantage of that. But with that being said, my name is Danielle Marie from the One Realty. I'm the founder of the One Realty out here in Austin. I take a data-driven all-in-one approach. So for both my buyers and sellers, we're doing a macro, micro analysis of, hey, here's what's going on. We're doing SWOT analysis. What is the strength of your listing? What's the weakness of your listing? What are the opportunities that you have that other people don't? What are your threats? So when you list your home, you don't want to just be looking at listing what your home is. You want to look at the threats. What are the other options out there that a buyer has? You want to truly understand the bigger picture of the house and of the whole market versus keeping your blinders on and only looking at your particular house. Let's do real estate. Let's do real estate with data and numbers. And sometimes let's leave some of the emotions out. So with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday weekend, and feel free to subscribe and follow me and save this so that you can find me again. Bye.